All right, we're going to go ahead and get started this afternoon with our session. Thank you so much to everyone who is on the call right now. It's super appreciated, both from our student organizations and then all of our incoming students as well. We wanted to go ahead and just get started with this session. For those of you who don't know, we will be recording today's session and posting it later for students to view on our website in case they weren't able to make it. So just know you're being recorded. But then also, we just want to provide that resource to any of our students who weren't able to make our virtual involvement week. Thank you for being a part of this. We have some housekeeping rules that we're going to go over really quick, just to make sure everybody feels good about using Zoom, although I feel like we're all very comfortable using this platform now, myself included. But please just make sure to mute yourself if you're not actively speaking on the call, to avoid any awkward moments, but then also just to make sure that we can hear whomever is speaking. And then also we wanted to make sure that you were aware that we have started using a transcribing service that allows us to have a live stream of the transcript for the meeting. So if you want to look at that for closed captioning purposes, you can either click the link that I just posted in the chat, or if you go to the top left-hand side of your screen, you should see otter.ai live notes. And if you click that link, it'll allow you to open up another window so you can look at me saying these things right now on a sheet of paper in your browser, which is kind of terrifying. So don't say anything you don't want put in the cloud for forever. But we're excited about that service, and we'll keep those notes for students to refer back to later as well. So today's session is going to be all about some of our sponsored and governance organizations here on campus at the University of Mississippi. If you have questions while folks are talking, feel free to drop them into the chat, but then also we'll save some time hopefully at the end for some questions to be answered. Our panelists have provided some responses to some questions that they were sent earlier on last week. So hopefully these will be informative things for you all to learn a little bit more about. But before we kick things off and really get started, we're going to allow our panelists to introduce themselves. Panelists, I'm just going to call on you by your organization, so y'all can unmute yourselves, introduce yourself, and then we'll kind of get started after that with the questions. So for your introductions, just let us know what your name is, what your position is with your organization and your organization, of course, as well as your classification and major if you're a student. So let's kick things off with the Associated Student Body.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eleanor Schmid. I am the Director of Involvement within ASB, and I am a senior this year, and my major is International Studies, so I'm in the Croft Institute. As the Director of Involvement, basically what my job within ASB is to bring people into the organization, to have opportunities for leadership, and to get to know what exactly we do. The Associated Student Body is, our main goal is, I'll just read from the mission statement here, is to serve selflessly and represent justly the student body in accordance with the University of Mississippi's creed by prioritizing students' interests and needs above personal ambition and prejudice. So basically our role is to support each and every one of you and engage student opinion about things happening on our university and our campus and our community, and to elevate student voices to campus leadership. So there's 3 branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. And overall, ASB serves as an advocacy resource for students.
Awesome. All right, how about our Black Student Union?
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Knox. I serve as the Vice President of the Black Student Union. I am a senior accounting major.
Awesome. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Hey, my name is Demetrius Harris. I serve as the Secretary for Black Student Union. I am a rising sophomore, and my major is political science.
Awesome. All right, up next are Leadership and Engagement Ambassadors.
Hey everyone, my name is Mr. Clemens. I serve as the head ambassador for the Leadership and Engagement Ambassadors. and I am a rising senior studying psychology.
All right, Ole Miss Ambassadors.
Oh, I couldn't find you button. What's up, y'all? My name is Tatarian Jones. I'm a rising senior. I'm studying political science. I'm on the med track, and I serve as the director of Ole Miss Ambassadors.
All right, the big event.
Hey y'all, I'm Miller Carlton. I am co-director. I'm one of the co-directors for the Ole Miss Big Event. I'm a rising senior. I'm studying biochemistry and hopefully going to med school. So, yay.
Hey everybody, I'm Cade. I'm Miller's other half in life and in Big Event. But I'm also a co-director for the Big Event. I'm a rising senior. I'm majoring in public policy leadership and integrated marketing communications.
All right, orientation.
Hey guys, my name is Olivia Maurer. I'm an orientation coordinator for Almost Orientation, and I'm a rising junior majoring in public policy leadership.
What's up, guys? My name is JD Morton. I'm also an orientation coordinator with Ole Miss Orientation. I'm a rising senior studying management information systems in the business school.
All right, RebelTHON.
Hi guys, my name is Brianna Chambers and I am the president of RebelTHON, and I am a rising senior and I'm studying biology.
Hey y'all, my name's Deb. I'm VP of membership for RebelTHON, and I'm a rising senior as well, and I'm studying elementary and special education.
All right, our Student Activities Association.
Hey y'all, my name is Trevor Davis. I am the executive director of the Student Activities Association for this year. I'm a rising senior and I'm an integrated marketing communications major.
All right, Column Society.
Hey everybody, that's me too. I'm Cade Slaughter again, and I currently serve as the president of the Column Society.
All right, and last but certainly not least, our Ole Miss Student Alumni Council.
Hey y'all, I'm Chessie. I know it says Jane, but I'm Chessie, and then I'm the president, and I am a political science major with a minor in Italian, and I'm a senior.
All right, so thank you all panelists for being here today with us this afternoon, and for hopefully sharing some great things about all your student organizations to our incoming students. Again, for those of you who just joined us on the call, we will be having some questions provided to our panelists, and they'll be responding to them. And if you have any questions while we're going through, feel free to drop anything you might need to ask into the chat so everyone can see it. Panelists, for the sake of just kind of keeping us organized, I'm just going to drop the same order that we just went in for introductions for y'all if you want to kind of just go in that order as we're sort of going through the questions that we have. So let me do that right now. Awesome. So just feel like, ready whenever you're about to be called on. So the first question we wanted to start off with, and really just sort of hitting some of those high points about your organization. Tell us about the purpose of your organization and what contribution you make to campus.
So I kind of already explained some of that before I started. I got a little ahead of myself. But basically ASB is to serve to elevate the student voice. And then Noah is also here. He's the director of First Experience, and I'll let him speak on the mission a little bit more.
Hey, I'm Noah. I feel like I got skipped. That's okay. I'm the principal of First Year Experience this year for the freshmen. And our organization for first year encounters is to kind of get the freshmen the opportunity to join student government without having to go through elections, which usually occur in the springtime. And, we have 3 great programs this year with Connect, Forum, and Council, all with different, goals and ways to help like incoming freshmen become different service leaders here on campus, whether it be via discussion-based leadership learning, or whether it be from like just hands-on interaction with student body members. So that's what we do in first year experience. And, it's a great organization that, I feel like a lot of current like people on this panel have been through themselves, and, it kind of builds upon itself every year.
So our mission at the for the Black Student Union is basically to create a safe haven for our African American students here at the university, by also giving them platform to make their voice heard at their university. We contribute many programs and events tailored to our mission and to better the livelihood of our African American students, and allowing resources, providing resources to them.
Our mission for Leadership and Engagement Ambassadors is to basically help everyone find their place and purpose here on campus by getting involved. We're here to do one-on-one consultations with you to help navigate certain organizations out of the many organizations that we have, so you don't have to go through this process alone. You will have a trusted resource who's there for you. Also, we do help with leadership development, so we help with the Strengths Finders test and just making sure you're getting the most out of your college experience.
So for Ole Miss Ambassadors, we're the primary organization responsible for campus visits and recruitment. So like as ambassadors, we've volunteered many of our hours with the Office of Admissions to aid them in like recruitment activities, whether that's like tours, writing letters, or going to visit days. A lot of people like associate us with like as salespeople, but like really we're storytellers. So our contribution to campus is like unique in the sense that in relation to prospective students, and that like many of those students like base their decision off of our stories. So we're really just the university storytellers is what I like to say.
Hey everyone again. So the Ole Miss Big Event is known for being the largest service day in Mississippi, which is an incredible thing to be known for. And we volunteer our service to the Oxford Lafayette community, and we engage several different parts of campus and in doing that. But also I think our organization does an awesome job of bridging the gap between the campus and the community. And so it allows our students to develop relationships within the community while also maybe alleviating a burden or just helping out around someone's house. And so it can be really small, but it can also be such a huge impact in someone's life. And that's something that, I feel like all of us strive to do on our campus. And so, yeah.
What's up, guys? I'll talk for orientation. So every student who comes to the university, whether through like traditional freshmen or transfer students, has to come through some sort of orientation. This summer it was virtual, but traditionally we'll have thousands of students come in and go through different programming, connect with different opportunities to get involved on campus and connect with other incoming students. We provide families with resources to learn more about different campus resources, and it's a whole lot of fun. Being an orientation leader is just like next level, so do that if you can. So.
Okay, RebelTHON is, our goal is to provide awareness and funds for the Children's of Mississippi, which is the only children's hospital in our state. We get to hang out with our Miracle Kids, which are some of the children that are treated at the hospital, and then in addition to getting to tour the hospital and stuff like that.
So the special thing about RebelTHON is that it is a year-long mission. So we engage students on Oxford and Jackson, where the Children's Hospital is.
The Student Activities Association provides, we like to say, free events for students by students. We provide a lot of the on-campus programming that you'll see at all points of the year, and I think that we have a campus responsibility to provide students with something to do outside of class. And obviously right now that's going to look a little different, but we are, taking this as a challenge to kind of see, we still recognize our responsibility as a student programming organization. So we're still going to try to make this year super fun, just even though it's going to look a little different.
Yeah, and the Column Society, it's a group of 15 men and 15 women who serve as what we call the official hosts and hostesses for the university. So as a member of the Column Society, you wear a Navy blazer and you work at different events around campus and around Oxford, whether that is a football game in the Chancellor's Box, or you might even be working a donor dinner at Roanoke, William Faulkner's home. So the Column Society does a lot of cool work in welcoming people to the university. It's a great organization. Like I said, it's 15 men and 15 women, so we have 30 members. And that membership is reserved for rising juniors and seniors at the university. But the Column Society members are people that you'll interact with during your entire tenure at the university.
So our goal, our main purpose of SAC is to bridge the gap between students and alumni and to promote the positive image of the university. So essentially, we're a group of students who do certain activities on campus and within the Oxford community. And we do a lot with our Ole Miss alumni, especially the exec members of the Ole Miss Alumni Association. We do some community service and hold campus events to promote the Alumni Association and to help students set themselves up for involvement on campus, but also when it comes time to graduate and look for a job. So our largest goal is mostly to support the Alumni Association, by creating a student membership that introduces students to our alumni. God, association is a tough one.
Great job. Yeah, this is tough. We hate Zoom. This is much worse than being in person for sure. But we're making the most out of it. Well, thank y'all for sharing all that stuff about your organizations. So the next question, and I hope that there's some fun stories that folks can share on this one, but what is your favorite thing or your most memorable thing about your organization that it does each year?
For me, with the Associated Student Body, I get a lot of enjoyment out of the consistent things that happen throughout, especially since a lot of you are first year students with our first year encounters programs. It's like a weekly meeting and you really get to form this community. And I was a member of that my freshman year, and then I was a leader of that afterwards. And so just I love the community aspect and how we can bring people together and help develop student voices on campus.
Yeah, I would have, oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree with Eleanor on that though, with the whole leadership advancement. I was also in a freshman program when I was a freshman here at the University of Mississippi. And a lot of people here, like Cade Slaughter and DeTaryn Jones and all that, I've seen throughout my progression through the years. And so it's really cool to see how you start from the ground zero and build yourself up through all these programs. And I think that's my favorite part about student government.
I would say my favorite thing would be the BSU annual gala event. And that's where we all come together and not only celebrate the success of our organization, but one another. We get to come together, dress up. Everybody looks really pretty. It's almost like reliving prom night all over again. And it's just a great experience. So that would be my most favorite.
While Leadership and Engagement Ambassadors is a new organization, so far I would say my favorite event would be our, we call it Ambassadors After Hours. So it's where we all get together after a meeting or throughout the week and do some sort of team bonding activity. So sometimes it's Kahoot, sometimes it's a Netflix party. It's just really a good time for us to just get to know each other and hang out outside of the business world.
Okay, business world. My favorite event that Ole Miss Ambassadors does, we have these thing called visit days. So on visit days, like high students like all across the country come to our university for a day. They learn about the university. We have to often like do browse fairs, speeches from administrators, and most importantly, tours from like our ambassadors. So in terms of like recruitment, this is one of our most impactful events for the university because many students can't get tours throughout the year, so they come for visit days. And you can like meet a bunch of different people just from giving tours to them. Like I met this woman from like California. She was like friends with like a famous politician. It was a cool story. We still kind of talk, even though she's like a woman and like a kid.
My favorite part of the big event, honestly, is the day of because no matter where it's held, like in the pavilion or this year it was in the Gillum Center, it's just so like it almost feels like a hype video, but like in live action because people come and talk. There's music playing. Everyone's walking in a little bit confused, but kind of excited. And they're also like, why am I here at 8 o'clock to go work? But like, it's so amazing. And so like, there's a lot of like really good energy there. And I think like when people come and speak about the mission and like all the beneficial things that big event is doing in our community and how it's growing our community, I think that that experience is incomparable and something I get so excited about during the spring semester. And no matter what it looks like this year, I'm just really excited for what's to come. So.
Yeah, and for those who might get confused about what big event is, because it's not too descriptive just by the name, my favorite memory is from my freshman year when I served on a big event project. And it was a young couple. They had a newborn, and I was painting the newborn's room a different color. They made us cookies and stuff. And I look in the backyard, and they have 3 peacocks back there. And I was like, what's up with the peacocks? And I didn't know you could have a peacock as a pet. And so they work on campus, actually. I see them all the time and I always ask about the peacocks. And they're like, they're doing good. And that's the kind of random thing that the big event provides for students, and hopefully can this year as well. So there's just an example of the kind of things that we're doing with big event.
For orientation, we spend the whole spring leading up to the summer training, and in the middle of it, during the week of spring break, we go to a conference somewhere within the Southeast. And my freshman year, it was in South Carolina. So we got on a bus, drove like 13 hours. It was a lot, but it's just really memorable, and it's a really good opportunity that the team gets to bond and meet new people from a bunch of different universities, and it's just a great time.
Another thing with orientation is we get this retreat where we're locked in the woods, and we just get to like do all these fun team building activities, and we really bond. And so that's just like one of my favorite experiences with this so far.
For RebelTHON, the dance marathon is always memorable that we host in February, but my favorite event is Rivalry Week, where we compete against state DM to see who can fundraise the most money during leading up to the football game that we normally play in Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the dance marathon is definitely the highlight, but I think for sure my favorite is we put on a lot of special events throughout the year, whether it's at restaurants or just certain locations, and we get so close throughout the year that, when we have all these special events, it's like a big party with all of your best friends, so it's so much fun.
My favorite SAA event, I think I kind of like everything we do. I mean, I feel like we play a pretty important part in like shaping campus culture. So everything year round is like, honestly, like I love it. But the SAA classic that I always say is my favorite thing is silent disco. Whenever you walk up, it's just a bunch of people dancing, kind of talking, but you can't hear any music. And they're all singing along the lyrics you can't hear, but then everybody's wearing these light up green headphones, and whenever we put the headphones on, it's like an instant party. We have it in the Grove every year, and it's so much fun. I honestly love it.
For Collins is kind of a tricky one because we work so many different events as members throughout the year. I explained earlier, from a football game to a dinner or something. But one of my favorite things that we do every year and that every member participates with is the football games. So we'll work in the chancellor's box or the athletic director's box. And it's cool, to be in air conditioning when it's 95 degrees for a football game. Even though you're in a suit, you're in the AC, which is really nice. But you get the chance to meet a lot of faculty at Ole Miss and a lot of different donors that play important roles in shaping our university. So that experience is always something that's really, that I cherish and that every single other member cherishes a lot.
So my favorite event for Ole Miss SAC is probably our fall event, which is Bridging the Gap. We have 5 really prominent Ole Miss alums come and speak about their experiences at Ole Miss and what they've done since then. And there's also a reception afterwards where you can meet them, and we've had some really awesome people come and speak. But I would say just in general, because we're not like SAA or columns where we have a ton of different events. We mostly just kind of help out here and there and do more small things. But something I love about SAC is our weekly meetings. Or bi-weekly meetings. So every other week we meet, and then we usually have either a teacher that everyone loves from Ole Miss or someone prominent in the Oxford community just come and talk about their time at Ole Miss and why it was so special and any advice that they would give students. And these meetings are great because it's such a cool way to meet other people, other members that are involved in a bunch of other stuff that I probably wouldn't have otherwise met. And so it's a really special time because not only are we getting to hear some really awesome advice and meet some of the prominent Ole Miss alumni that still are in Oxford, but we get to meet a lot of our other students. So it's kind of like we get to network with alums, but also network with each other, which I think is really unique.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much for all of that really good information. We love hearing about those experiences for sure. So can you tell us a little bit about why a new student or an incoming student should join your organization, or what are some of the services or programs that you all provide to incoming students?
So with the Associated Student Body, we have a wide variety of involvement opportunities. And this year, especially, we're looking at increasing the flexibility of these opportunities. So we have everything from a very consistent, tight-knit group where you meet weekly, and those are the programs that NOAA oversees. And then we also have similar opportunities on the legislative branch. If you're interested in Senate, there are 8 legislative aides, 1 for each Senate committee, so you can help out with that, and that's open to freshmen as well. And beyond that, there's also, we've had events that are just open to any first-year student. You don't have to have joined our organization, but you can do things such as meet candidates for the elections in the spring. And then we're also looking at this year really expanding the opportunities. So you'll be able to shadow a member of ASB or sit in on a board meeting for the executive branch, a whole wide variety of opportunities. And so, yeah, we really encourage you to reach out. You can send us an email, contact us on the ASB website, and we can get you connected with the sort of opportunity that is right for you in terms of level of commitment.
I think it's essential for many Black students coming into the university as freshmen or transfer students to be linked with other Black students, faculty, and staff. It's quite essential, in my opinion. It kind of helps you along your process here at the university. The Black Student Union, like I said, creates a safe haven. So, you know, we have events and programs tailored to our culture. So last semester, we did a Wildin' Out event, you know, where we just got together and, you know, reacted some of the games. We have resume building, like, I guess, like programs. And we have a community service committee where we basically give back to our Black community. So I think it's very essential for Black students to be a part of that. And yeah, that's it.
As a new member for Leadership and Engagement Ambassadors, you get the opportunity to be a part of a committee. So we have 3 committees. We have our social media and marketing committee, and each ambassador works with our coordinator to come up with different designs to put on our social media and to get our name out there. The involvement video, that was all ran by our our social media involvement coordinator and some of the ambassadors on her team. And we also have student involvement, and they each ambassador has been reaching out to different orgs and different departments on campus to make sure the student involvement experience is a great one. So as a new member, you get that opportunity to lead and work on your leadership skills. As for using our services, if you don't know exactly which organizations to join, that's what we're here for. We're here to help navigate that process for you so you don't have to do it alone.
I think the biggest thing with ambassadors is just like you have the ability to directly impact the lives of prospective students and like when help them make a major decision for their future. I think it's like easy for us to forget that like how stressful and scary college is when you're a senior in high school and like the fear of the unknown. And like I always say that ambassadors are like unique in the sense that we have the ability to serve as like a bridge for like the known, which is high school, and the unknown, which is college. And being an ambassador gives you a chance to serve as a bridge daily. So
Yeah, for Big Event, there's a few different opportunities to get involved. I mentioned earlier, I was doing a project my freshman year. One of the first ways that incoming students can get involved with Big Event is to join a subcommittee. We have a subcommittee for volunteer recruitment, so you stand at the table and you help recruit people for the actual event. And then you also have a logistics subcommittee, and they help plan all the logistical works of the day of. So getting the breakfast, getting people organized into groups, all kind of crazy stuff. But you can also serve as a team leader the day of and just a participant the day of, depending on what that looks like this upcoming year. But another great way is to apply for exec after your first year at Ole Miss. So that's kind of the different ways to get involved with Big Event.
And I mean, for an incoming student, I feel like a lot of us in high school found ways to be involved in our communities or like volunteer with an organization. And I think that that's instilled in a lot of us. And so I feel like Big Event is an awesome way to, we don't do a lot of things in the fall. And so if you need just a springtime commitment of like, okay, I've gotten the hang of this, I know that I really want to dive into this community, like that is a great way to do it. And there are a lot of these organizations have opportunities in the spring. And that's the best part of this because you can dip your toes in everything. But like Cade was saying, there's so many little ways to get involved where you can, like I said, dip your toes in, see if you like it, and see if you want to progress with this organization, because that's what I found myself doing because I knew I loved service. And so it's just, and I love this, that we have this available for you because you can just find your niche and just feel and like, decide where you want to be in campus or like be spread out everywhere. So.
Yeah, for orientation, kind of like what Darian said with the ambassadors, we're some of the first faces that incoming students see. And so we have that ability to make one of those first impressions and really impact students as far as their perception of campus and what Ole Miss is all about. And so that puts us in a very unique and like special like position to impact their lives. As far as like new students joining orientation, you go through an interview process. And then once selected, you go through, like Olivia was talking about, training for a semester. So you meet weekly, and then you go on a retreat, and then we'll go to a regional conference where you have all these other orientation leaders, and it's like big crackhead energy, very fun. But as far as like what this organization has to offer you, I think the self-growth aspect of it is really underrated. I think just being really close with a lot of different types of people from different backgrounds really pulls you out of your shell and kind of allows you to broaden your perspective on things that you might have had a narrow mind in the past. And so I think just in general, it's good for you as a person. And in college, it's a lot about like preparing yourself for life after college, and orientation it's really got it all. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, so for RebelTHON, everyone can register as a dancer on Donor Drive. That's on our website if you're interested in that. And it's $10. That'll go towards your participant fundraising. And then if you're looking for more of a leadership role, we have committees that we'll put applications out for in September, where you'll get to work more directly with specific aspects of leadership to help plan events throughout the year and for the dance marathon.
Yeah, and it's awesome because when you register, you can register with a team, or we even have teams that, we would kind of throw people together so you can meet a lot of new people and you can engage with a lot of people from different parts of campus you wouldn't have before. And throughout the year, we table, or we're constantly tabling. You will always see us tabling, and we celebrate Child Health Day. We do rivalry week with Mississippi State, and we do Miracle Week, and we are constantly engaging students through tabling and through fundraising pushes on social media. And so it's really fun to see the whole organization progress throughout the year leading up to the big dance marathon that we put on. So.
For SAA, the simplest way to get involved in that organization is to come to our events. We host stuff that I like to say is we have something for everybody at least one point throughout the year. We have 4 different committees: special events, homecoming, entertainment, and pageants. And within those, there are over 150 different events that we host throughout the year. And I like to say just come to stuff and see what you like. And if you like it and want to get more involved in the planning process, then I think SAA has a really unique position on campus, like I said earlier, in determining campus culture. And I think that a lot of the work that we do differentiates us from a lot of other campuses. And I think that's a really awesome sort of like to kind of like, make your own mark at Ole Miss. And I've grown a lot personally through it in just a personal development way, but also if you have any sort of passion for event planning and like kind of like those logistical details, like we'd love to have you. We developed a first year committee last year. And like I said, we have those other 4 committees too that we're still going strong with.
Yeah, well, when I first came to Ole Miss, I was pretty eager to get involved and meet new people, like many of you are on this call. And so I knew about a lot of these organizations, but one I didn't know about was columns. I would see these older students on campus with a navy blazer, and I'd be like, why are they dressed up like that? Like, I know they're my age. They go to college here. I didn't understand the premise of this organization. But I say that to say that columns is one of those things that we want to familiarize yourself with, because we want you to be able to apply for that. Starting your sophomore year, spring semester was when I applied, and then went through an interview process and then was accepted into the Column Society. And that's when you start actually becoming a member and working these different events. So I say that to say your freshman year, there's not necessarily an opportunity to become involved with the Column Society, but it's something that is kind of like a culmination of your work here at Ole Miss. It's a culmination of meeting different people and having a love and a humble servant's heart, as we like to say, for Ole Miss. So it's something that kind of grows with you. And something to look out for once you're on campus in the fall.
So for us, I think similar to all of y'all is that it's just a really great way to meet different people. SAC isn't a huge time commitment. We definitely have meetings, and we call them blue and red events. So we have a certain amount of events you have to complete per semester. Some are mandatory, some are not. But it's really great for people who have a passion for involvement, because I would say that at least every single member is involved in something else on campus. And so it's really cool to be involved in a group with other students who love the school and then want to continue to serve Ole Miss after they graduate. That's definitely something that that is different about Student Alumni Council, is that it's kind of that direct liaison between I'm going to work as a student on furthering Ole Miss and the image of Ole Miss, and then continue to do that as an alum. With our weekly meetings, we do a lot of resume building workshops and that sort of stuff. We have a mentor program where you'll get set up with a mentor who has recently graduated from Ole Miss in your field. So if you're a political science major, like myself, with the intentions of going to law school, I got paired with the lawyer in Jackson, which is really awesome because he had tons of advice and has done really well, especially in the area. So he was able to teach me a lot. And one of the biggest things that I was concerned about was, I mean, of course, freshmen don't worry about this as much because you're just worried about getting in college. But when you're a junior and senior, you're looking more about internships and jobs and that sort of stuff. It's really, really important to know like how to write a really awesome cover letter that's going to make you stand out, how to build your resume. And then something that I really took away from SAC, especially as a freshman and sophomore with my mentors, was how to properly email them. That sounds really small and tedious, but I think that writing a really professional email is something that's super important. And then just how to speak with a professional, what to wear, how to act. And those are all things that I learned not only through our meetings and advice, but also through experience. something we also offer, our Student Alumni Council members also sell and promote Future Alumni Network memberships. So you can be a Future Alumni Network member, but not a Student Alumni Council member. And then with that Future Alumni Network membership, I know I use the word alumni like 3,000 times, but our fan membership, as we call it, is really beneficial because you get like free printing, free Scantrons, you can come and study in the Alumni Center, and there's a bunch of other little perks, and it's just a certain amount of, this is like a soft flex, but it's like a certain amount of money a month, and so you just sign up for that little alumni thing. My advisor was like, touch on fan, but so that's also really awesome. And if you're interested in getting involved in that way, we have that as well. It's not just a membership in Student Alumni Council. Sorry, that's kind of long.
It's all good. Y'all are sharing some really helpful information, so this is awesome. So next question, and then we'll sort of open the floor if there are any questions from some of our students or incoming students who are on the call. But the next question is, what have you learned being part of your student organization, whether it's about you as a person or some transferable skills, job skills, and I'll sort of hit on some of these, but this is really sort of talking about the why behind student involvement and what it really gives you and benefits you with.
So with my involvement with ASB, which I've been involved with since my freshman year, I learned a lot of skills that are like really helpful in like personal life and then also looking towards professional life. So like I've learned how to work really well with the team, and I've also developed skills in creative thinking. So thinking about like how can we create opportunities that are really beneficial for students, looking at like my own experience and the experience of incoming freshmen like every single year. And that's going to help a lot with this year as we go into our programming in these unprecedented times, with probably a lot of it being online. And like some of the words that we have for our vision for ASB is communication, community, and respect. So you really get to hone your skills in that, like communicating with the smaller team that you're working with, but then also learning how to effectively communicate with the student body as a whole and represent their voices. So we have all of the senators, and they represent student voices in a very direct way. And yeah, so many different opportunities in ASB, and it really helps you develop like organizational skills and a whole bunch of stuff that's really personally fulfilling and then also beneficial moving into professional life.
I think something more specific towards FYE would be when you come in freshman year and you have these program leaders and you kind of start looking up to them and start thinking to yourself, like, how can I be like a leader like they are? And then you slowly start to realize that as you go through like each individual level, whether you become a program leader or you decide to join a committee on ASB themselves, that they were just like you when they were freshmen, and that eventually they realized that it's not all about achievements, but it's about the passion you find in your small projects. Like for me, every year I feel like I learn something new about the program, and you kind of like it puts a smile on my face, if you would say, when I see like people who are under me learn to love the program themselves as they go through it. And I think that's what I learned going through FYE.
As the newly elected secretary for Black Student Union, I would most definitely say job and people skills has definitely been improved since joining. As secretary, one of my jobs is to email important updates to all members. So I'm definitely perfecting my writing and communication skills, becoming a proficient user of Gmail, Google Docs, and spreadsheets, and learning how to operate at like such a fast pace. Because I know sometimes it's like, hey, can you get this email out by 1 p.m.? And so definitely doing that. And also working in a group is teaching me great people skills, from listening to multiple people at a time, making sure everybody's opinion is heard and considered, and just really keeping it family based. Everybody's like real respected, and everybody's opinion is just as valid as the next person.
For leadership and engagement, so far my experience is just like D. So we took a Strengths Finders test, and all of my top 10 to 15 are in relationship building. And the lower categories for mine was like the management portion of it. So now as my position, I actually get to work on those skills. I made my first Excel sheet yesterday. It was great, y'all. Just letting you know. But it's like I get those chance to hone on my Microsoft Office work that I never really had the chance to do a whole lot before. And yeah, it's pretty fun.
Hey everyone, my name is Chintu Prasad. I kind of started a little bit late. I was on another call, but I serve as co-director for Ambassadors with Terry, and he's the better half. I just joined late. But I want to talk, I guess, a little bit. I should also say I'm majoring in mechanical engineering and public policy leadership, about to be a senior. But so we're talking a little bit about some of the skills that you learn. And for Ambassadors, hopefully by now you've kind of seen that we do a lot, and we really influence people's future decisions. That's a really, really big responsibility. But it tells a lot about yourself as well. See, when we go in and we try and pick ambassadors, we pick people based on how well they can talk about their own experiences and their own stories. So one of the big takeaways you're going to get by joining ambassadors is learning a lot more about yourself. You become a lot more introspective, and you realize there's so many different stories and opportunities on campus for you to tell. And so conveying that message to other people is more than just people skills. That's also helpful in your own life, and determining what are the sort of areas that you really experience the best at, what's something that you really enjoy. And so I think it's a really telling experience, not just from the people aspect and learning how to talk with people, walking backwards, obviously a big part, but also being able to look inside your own life and your own experiences and saying, okay, these are the type of things that I take a lot of value from. So I think those are the big skills you learn.
With Big Event, I think your growth in the organization, if you choose to grow in the positions you acquire, is just a tell-all of, like, you know, being in a job. I mean, the first year you can just volunteer and engage with the community, or you can be a project leader and engage with the community, but also be in charge of a group and facilitating how they get somewhere and them being comfortable with the arrangements. And then serving on the executive committee, you learn how to use an Excel sheet, which I also had never done, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that's really great. And then you have to work well with individuals and have open communication and take criticism. And so it's very similar to being in a job, but it's also an incredible way to, like, show your passion for serving others and be involved with your community for its betterment, and which is something that I've always wanted to do, and I'm so thankful that this organization has done that. But one of the beautiful things about all these organizations is that being in one gives you connections to another, because as you can see, there are a lot of people that overlap in organizations and haven't dipped their toes in others. And so I think that's a really beautiful thing about Ole Miss involvement culture, is one organization can point you to the next, and a person in that organization can point you to 5 more in others. And so I think we all collectively do an incredible job of just promoting, like, you know, hey, be involved with something that makes you happy, you're passionate about, and, you know, maybe it benefits other people. So.
Miller said that very well. And one of the big things for Big Event is that, and a big thing for me in general, just me as a person, is the idea of being comfortable and familiar with your surroundings. And coming to college, more than likely, most of you are not from Oxford, Mississippi. And so, you know, your definition of Oxford is Ole Miss. It's the actual campus. And that's a great definition, because that's where you're going to live. That's where you're going to go to school. But you also immediately become a member of this larger Oxford, Ole Miss community. And the Big Event really establishes those small relationships with students and members of this town and other organizations that exist, not only on our campus, but in Oxford. And that's really a great thing, because it has made me feel more comfortable saying that, you know, I can kind of claim Oxford as part residency, and I feel confident with that. And I also just feel much more aware and comfortable and confident with my surroundings, and also my choice to come to Ole Miss. So that's a big Event thing.
For orientation, like JD mentioned before, like you get to meet so many people from across campus that you never would have before, and that really helped me grow a lot. But beyond just like people skills, I feel like so much more prepared to like have a job after college and to be able to adapt to new situations. I know after my first summer with orientation, I just like noticed how I felt so much more like assured in like my abilities and like my decision making, because like I'd had this experience making friends with complete strangers and learning how to talk to students while also talking to parents, and kind of like just so many like small details over time that you really become comfortable and you become trained in. And so it's just a really great experience where you kind of just get to learn in so many different ways and kind of make it your own experience.
RebelTHON has been my passion since I stepped on campus my freshman year. I've really enjoyed going through the leadership process. As you go higher in leadership, you get to work really closely with a lot of different advisors. They're such a unique organization, and I think that's really prepared me for future interviews and application processes, because I've worked closely with adults that know a lot of information, and I get to then transfer that information back to my fellow leaders in our organization.
And going off of that, and going off of literally what everyone else said, like we've got so many unique organizations, but I think one thing in common is that all of them provide an opportunity for growth. And, you know, when you get involved with something as a freshman, you go through committee processes or chair processes or different things like that. And you feel yourself and you watch yourself grow. As years go on, you become more mature, you are much more confident, you become much more well-spoken. And now that I'm old, I've seen that I've watched so many of my friends and so many even younger younger people get so much more mature and so much more confident in themselves. And you just feel like you're just reassured, as Olivia said, and you are more confident in your abilities and you get more comfortable with yourself as well as your place on this campus, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, that was very well said, Dev. I think that like with SAA, the biggest takeaway that I've gotten as far as growth goes is learning how to identify the wants and needs of different people and coming up with creative ways to meet those wants and needs. And that can come in forms of just like planning events for the campus and trying to, you know, figure out what would work, what doesn't. But also in terms of like professional development, I've been a part of SAA for 4 years now. And every year I feel like I've grown in a more professional way, being on exec. My first year I was on just committee, and then after you kind of advance within the organization, you work with so many different teams, and you just like develop those skills and so much stronger every year. Yeah. And one thing that Miller said, I think I also want to point out is like, you know, the involvement culture at Ole Miss, like there are so many different things that we can do, but one organization can lead you to the next, and you might not find your passion freshman year, but sophomore year might, or if you don't find it sophomore, junior, or senior, you know, it's a thing that takes time. And I think that like, even as a freshman, you know, like this is going to happen to so many people. We're going to jump into all these organizations and you're going to try to do 8 things at once. But then sophomore year, you're going to kind of reprioritize a little bit and say, well, these are the things that I really actually care about. And then from there, you're like, well, this is like the one thing that I really want to focus on, or there's multiple. But yeah, I think that's kind of the journey that at least all of us on this panel have taken. And I think that it speaks to kind of like the power of like being involved at Ole Miss.
For columns, I guess some like direct things that I think all people who are members of the Column Society walk away with is you get so much interview practice from going through our application process, but you just kind of learn to be more of a professional person. I mean, in college, it's acceptable to go to class in pajamas, but then when you're on the Column Society, you have to show up for a meeting at 6 every Thursday on time, or it's not a good thing. And then you have to wear a suit to these events, and then you're going to go change to your pajamas and study for your test. It's a weird balancing act, but you learn a lot of life and soft skills from that. And you also gather a lot of great friendships because it's such a tight-knit group, and you do work a lot of these other events with people. So people that you would have never come into contact with on this campus, now you're with them week in, week out. And it's a beautiful thing because I see those relationships in my life as the kind of friendships that I know are going to exist 20 years from now. And I have a lot of confidence in that. And so that's a really cool thing about the Column Society, just aside from like a professional standpoint. There's also a lot of social gain from it, and self-worth that's kind of reflected back onto you. from your involvement with columns.
I love what Miller said, and I think that that was super awesome just because we're all kind of, and someone else mentioned this too, we're all kind of in the same boat with that, like find something, like try different stuff out, like find something that like you're passionate about, but that something that students can gain just from all of these groups is like the importance of people. And I think that that's what makes Ole Miss so great, is not necessarily like each group or whatever it might be, but definitely like all the people that you get to meet. And I think as a freshman or sophomore, it's a really great time to expand like your network of people a bunch. And I think as you get to be a junior or senior, your groups start to get smaller naturally. And the best way to meet people out of like your comfort zone and get to know people you might not have otherwise met in your classes or anything like that would be to get involved. And I think for SAC in particular, just the importance of people is definitely something that we really, really emphasize, because of course all of our events are with people and then our mentors are with people, and so there is such a strong importance of alumni and like being able to network and make those connections, especially in today's world. Everybody knows someone, and I think that it's really awesome that everyone who goes to Ole Miss like loves Ole Miss so much, and so to be able to connect with someone who also came to Ole Miss and shares that passion is something that's really special. I learned a lot about like wanting to leave not necessarily a lasting impact on Ole Miss, but with some of the people. And I think that that's something super awesome about SAC, is that you're not just here for 4 years and then you leave and it's like, oh, that was the 4 years I was in college. It was like everybody comes back to Ole Miss and loves it. And this is an awesome way to get in contact with the people who still value the university. I kind of touched on this already, but just kind of like what everyone else said, just learning how to be professional and not only just like be a college student, but also learn how to behave and act in the real world and be successful in the real world. And I think that's something that all of these groups have to offer, which is really awesome.
All right, so we want to take the last 30 minutes of the session to really kind of open the floor for any of you who are our student participants to ask some questions. I know we have one question in the chat already. How hard is it to get accepted to the Column Society? So Kay, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, and I was chatting, is it Caitlin? Yeah, I was chatting Caitlin about that too. But I just said that for the Column Society, one of the cool things about it is that it's something that you don't have to apply for once you first get here. It's one of those things that you have an understanding of whether or not you want to apply for it based on your understanding of what you do at Ole Miss. And for me, like my love of Ole Miss grew along with my understanding of what columns was. And so for when it came time to apply for that, I was like, this makes sense. This is something I want to apply for, and it's something that I look forward to. And like I said, there is an application, a written application, rec letters, an essay, other things. And then 2 interviews is kind of the historical trajectory for applying to the Column Society. And each year we take about 15 members, depending on how many people are graduating, combination of 7 women and 7 men, or 8 men. It just kind of depends on what it is from year to year. But it's a very holistic process. And I feel pretty confident in saying that when I look at the Column Society, our group, it's a true reflection of all the people I've met at Ole Miss. One person represents 300 other people that I know and love. And so that's really the cool thing about it.
All right, so what other questions are there? All right, so panelists, if y'all want to, sorry, silence is weird on Zoom. I can usually do it in person pretty well, but over Zoom, like, we have things to do, y'all. But I guess one thing I want to encourage you all to do, was there anything that you didn't get a chance to share that you want to talk about? This can also be an opportunity for you to shamelessly plug where folks can follow you, like you, do all of those things on social media, keep up with you. So feel free to share all of that right now if you'd like to.
So BSU applications will be dropping in the fall, and the best way to know about that is to follow us on Instagram, and that is at UMMISSBSU, UMBMISSBSU.
I realized I didn't actually explain the dance marathon to anyone on this call, so I feel like that was kind of uncomfortable of me. So RebelTHON accumulates in February with a 12-hour dance marathon where we get to come together and celebrate the hard work of everyone and celebrate our miracle kids that are, like I said, patients at the hospital. And then we also continue to have like a 12-hour fundraising push. Every hour, a family gets to share their story of their time at the hospital. And we have speakers from the university. And then we also start the hour with the morale dance, which is about an 8-minute long combo of songs that all of us get to dance to and celebrate. And then you can also follow us on Instagram. It's at RebelTHON. And then we also have Facebook.
Yeah, so just kind of following up everyone, I'm going to drop the Instagram link to the chat right now, so you can go ahead and add us there. Check us out, follow us. We're doing a lot of stuff on our Instagram. We're looking to really ramp that up. So a lot of great, exciting different things to take a look at and to look forward to.
I don't know if anybody's seen the news recently, but there's a virus going around, and it is causing a lot of uncertainty when it comes to student programming in the future. So one thing that we're trying to do is come up with ideas for virtual programming, things that we don't necessarily have to do in person, and also come up with creative ideas or creative ways for us to still offer our in-person events. But I think that like a good way to let us know, if you have ideas for events like that, or if you have, if you kind of want to just like stay up to date on stuff, if you won't necessarily be around like a lot of places on campus, is just follow us on social media at Ole Miss SAA. That big thing was just a way for me to disguise my Instagram handle. But yeah, I guess I'll drop it in the chat too, since everybody else is doing that.
For ASB, you can follow us on Instagram, Ole Miss ASB. I put that in the chat. And then we also have a website, which is where you'll be able to find all of the applications. So the first year encounters applications, if you want to be a legislative aide. And we forgot to mention, but if you're a transfer student, we also have a specific program for transfer students. And it's led by transfer students. So yeah, we also have that. And the link or the website is olemissasb.org. And you can find that in the chat as well.
And to caveat on that, FYE also has a separate Instagram page, and our applications are already out there. The deadline for that's August 31st. If you follow us, I swear I'll follow you back. I'm not elite like some people. Just saying that.
Orientation, me and JD both put the Instagram in the chat. Our applications come out late in the fall, so you don't have to worry about that now. But you can keep up there. Thanks to Terry, and the Instagram looks great. Shout out. And yeah, the application will be on the forum. Instagram's a great platform. Yes, goodbye.
Yeah, our applications open in the fall. Usually they open in the spring, and so freshmen haven't really gotten the opportunity to apply. And I would definitely say that if you want and you're interested in applying freshman year, just so you can really get the hang of it, and then you get the opportunity to have 4 mentors, which is really awesome. And I also, just like everyone else, put the Instagram. And I think we have most of our resources there. And if you all have any questions and want to just DM us or email us, all the information should be there.
If you want more information about our consultations for the fall, not all of them are going to be in person, so you can do them via Zoom. Just email getinvolved@olemiss.edu for more information. Also follow us on Instagram. It's _leadership ambassadors. Yes. So yeah.
Like everyone else, Big Event we put our Instagram in the chat, but also Kate just found our Twitter that hasn't been used since 2015. So y'all just get ready for some fire tweets. Not really sure what they're going to look like, but on a serious note, we're hoping to get more involved in our community in the fall. And so we want the Ole Miss community to be involved in that as well, no matter if you're on exec or just someone who's interested in it. So yay, but Twitter, be ready.
Basically, follow everybody on every social media. We all have every platform. Just a heads up. This has been so funny.
I love it. I mean, you're just brand ambassadors for your organizations. It's great. Well, I think there was one additional question about requirements for RebelTHON dance team. So we definitely want to honor that. Brianna or Deb, do you want to talk about that really quick?
Yeah, we've been messaging back and forth, but I can also just say it out loud. There's no requirements for like which team you specifically join. A lot of people join teams based on their Greek chapter or their club or their organization, but we also have teams to join that you can just join to do RebelTHON, which is awesome because you get to meet a lot of people. And so there's no requirement. You can just do kind of what feels right, what you want to do. There's a lot of people who are involved in so many organizations and kind of pick one every year, or they stick to one. So it's totally up to you.
All right. So with that, I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and close out this session. As y'all can see, these are some amazing student leaders who have really invested a lot of time, energy, and passion into the groups that they're a part of. These are some of our absolutely stellar groups to get associated with and to really plug into, to really find a way to build some community. And that's really what these groups do here at the University of Mississippi, is to help us build that community. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, we will be posting these videos from these sessions on our website. So, panelists, if you want to go back and watch yourself, you totally can. But students, you can also go back and refer to it if you're like, I can't remember what that Instagram handle was and I really want to remember it. So let me go back and listen to that video again. But we definitely want to encourage you to share with your friends, share this information with all the other incoming students that you might know. But let's give a virtual round of applause to our panelists for all of their great information that they shared. Thank y'all for showing up today to be a part of this panel. And please reach out to our office if you have any other questions. And you can start utilizing the forum to definitely reach out to some of these student organizations or reach out to them on social media. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday, and we will see y'all for the next one. All right, bye.
Bye.
Buddy Toddy.